Hello and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday, the 6th of April. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that happened last Friday, April Fool's Day, but it was not an April Fool's joke. Last Friday I woke in the morning to find a video posted by a friend on Facebook that had the entirety of the Pope's apology to the Indigenous Peoples of Canada for the residential schools, for the doctrine of discovery, for the harms that were done by the church and in the name of the church by people working for the church. I always believed that Pope Francis had the heart to make the apology, but I am ashamed to say I didn't think that the college of clergy around him and the business-minded ones of them, I didn't believe that they would let him. And so I was so surprised and overjoyed to see that he did in fact apologize, and he has pledged to come to Canada to see the people and to greet them on their own land. I don't know what I hoped for would happen. I don't know what I thought might happen. As a non-Indigenous person, I have no rights here. I have no privileges. I have no expectation that I should feel anything except relief and hope and possibility for our Indigenous brothers and sisters and siblings. It's not mine to own. It's not mine even to make commentary about. However, I am still doing this video because I believe that we all have a response, and we all need to have voice to that response. And we all need to recognize the power of our response. I cannot know the harm that was done to Indigenous peoples. I can read about it. I can watch videos. I can listen to stories. I can sit and listen to survivors of residential schools as they tell me their story. But I can never know, I can never experience what they went through, what generations after them have gone through and will continue to go through. It was mentioned by the Pope that the seventh generation, that it takes 7 generations, a teaching he learned from the peoples who gathered to share their story with him in Vatican City. And we aren't there yet. We aren't at the 7th generation. And I think in some ways that 7th generation is not so much a literal thing as it is sort of an exemplifier of what it means for forever. The impact that something has on that someone or some situation has on someone has an impact forever. It changes the trajectory of that person's life. Hence, that changes the trajectory of the people who come after them. 7 generations may go by, and the hurt and the pain may disappear, maybe. But the truth is that the potential of each of those children who went to the residential schools, the ability of those parents who watched their children go, some of them encouraging them, thinking that this was going to be helpful for them in their life, wanting their children to have things they couldn't give them, like speaking English and being able to learn things that they could go in the world and be successful. Not all of the parents had their children ripped from their arms. Many of them, I believe, also believed what school was supposed to do. School was not supposed to harm their children. It was not meant to take away from them all that they had, but rather enhance what they had, who they were. And I believe that 7 generations will not do it. That the harm that was done will be forever. That doesn't mean we grieve forever. It doesn't mean that we have to be, act repentant forever. It means we have to acknowledge that never, ever will there be what could have been had residential schools and colonialism and the decisions made by white people, have they not happened. We can't change that. I understand that. And I'm not bemoaning that. I'm not claiming we should or try or rewrite history or anything like that. All I'm saying is that I grieve for those people whose lives were changed, whose lives were lost, and I ask patience of those who have the greatest right to grieve. Mine is simply empathy. It cannot be part of the community. But hearing the Pope apologize helped me to recognize that that is part of my community. As a priest in apostolic succession, I may not be Roman Catholic, but I trace back the ordination. The hands upon hands have been laid upon people, goes back to the Roman Church. It goes back to the seat of the Pope. And so we as Anglicans have so much to do, whether we acknowledge it or not, with the Roman Catholic Church, that in many, many ways I felt the Pope's apology was mine as well. And so it was heartbreaking for me to see some of the comments that were made. Many, many comments were made of what a beautiful day, and now healing can begin. And this is the beginning of transformation of systems. This is the beginning of reconciliation. Now, truth and reconciliation can indeed coexist. This can happen. And that's beautiful to see. But I also saw comments, one in particular that took my breath away in its absolute barbarism. Someone stating that if the Roman Catholic Church now takes fiscal responsibility and sends money, it should be sending it to the government and it should be reimbursed to us. I guess that would be white people, taxpayers, because our taxes, which is our money, paid for all the stuff that happened that government has paid out. I just about lost my lunch when I read that. It absolutely devastated me that there is someone, and others who agree with this person, who think that way in this day and age. Colonialism and reconciliation cannot completely happen in our generation. Maybe we need to recognize that what happened to the folks, to the Indigenous peoples over the years in residential schools and over the years with treaties and the breaking of treaties and the intention, the malintent behind some of the treaties, well, it will take 7 generations for them to heal. It's going to take 7 generations from now for reconciliation to happen, because we are only beginning to do the work of reconciliation right now. And that is heartbreaking to me. It is heartbreaking to me that there are people who say they should just get over it. Why should the Pope have to apologize? My hunch is that those people who hold that attitude in their heart have never truly been hurt. They've never had something stolen from them. They have never had some tragedy dropped upon them. Because only a person without empathy, only a person who has never known pain or unfairness or the bitterness of what it takes to realize that you have been used and abused. Only a person who's never experienced anything, even the tiniest bit, could possibly say some of the things that are being said. The Pope has finally opened that door. Yes, the other churches have apologized, and we have made reparations, and we are still working together, trying to figure out how we can walk in solidarity, we can walk into reconciliation, how we cannot undo what was done, but we can ensure that it is never done again. That is so important. But how can we do that when there are people who are still thinking such horrid thoughts about human beings? We are watching Russia walking its way through Ukraine, fighting and creating mass graves and killing innocent people, executing innocent people because they seem to think they are subhuman, which is exactly what happened in Canada. White people, non-Indigenous people, considered Indigenous people, human beings, to be subhuman, and that is what happened. We cannot let that happen again. We need to walk with the Pope. We need to continue to understand what an apology is and why it is necessary, and what happens after an apology. An apology is nothing but words if it is not followed up by actions. So we, the Anglican Church, colonialists, white people, non-Indigenous, whoever you are, we need to work together to find ways that we can follow up our apologies with real, honest work, with actions that mean something, with actions that will begin that 7 generations of reconciliation that has to begin with us. To my non-Indigenous brothers and sisters and siblings, please be patient. Thank you for walking in relationship with us. Thank you for teaching us. Thank you for being willing to learn from us. But also, most importantly, thank you for being in relationship with us. That together we will guide the generations that will come until there will really be truth and reconciliation and healing, and that all of these apologies will be known to be real. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless our Indigenous populations, our Indigenous brothers and sisters and siblings. May God bless the Pope as he leads the work that needs to be done, the work that has started years ago but cannot be completed until all of the Christian denominations have come together to say, we are sorry. How might we show our repentance? God bless us all. Have a good day, and I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.